The next part of our adventure west takes us across the Great Plains. Our choice this year is to go through all of Oklahoma along its northern border, through the Panhandle, and to northeastern New Mexico. We make overnight stops at Tall Chief Cove Campground near Tulsa, at Boiling Springs State Park near Woodward, Oklahoma, and then on to Black Mesa State Park at the western end of the Panhandle. And finally to Sugar Canyon State Park near the Colorado border in northeastern New Mexico. We're looking forward to entering Oklahoma, seeing the Great Plains, and getting closer to the mountains. The roads straighten out and the views become more distant as we drive onto the plains.
Entering Oklahoma. Leaving camp on a very rainy day. We're trying to get ahead of the storms.
Having lived in the Midwest for many years, Margie and I are well aware of the potential for severe weather, including tornadoes. This is especially true for the area we now entered, Tornado Alley. We made it a point to check the weather reports and radar every day. As we head out from our camp at Tall Chief Cove, the skies look threatening, and we were quickly into the wind and rain.
Damn, where we were camping.
We started to encounter groups of cars parked along the roadside. We didn't think about it much, thinking people were having car troubles, and others apparently stopped to help. But when we saw more of these clusters, we took a closer look. These were storm chasers, many with cameras mounted on tripods, perched on hilltops for a good view. They obviously expected tornadoes to come through today.
Here we go. Moving up north.
Driving west on U.S. Route 412 in northwest Oklahoma, about 10 miles west of Orienta, we stopped for an afternoon break at Gloss Mountain State Park. The park's key geological feature is Cathedral Mesa, which is part of the Gloss Mountains. From the parking lot, there is a hiking trail that takes you to the top of a mesa, offering 360-degree views of the surrounding plains, the valley floor, and Lone Peak Mountain to the north. It's a small park, but well worth the stop, as the entrance is right off the highway. The scenery is stunning, with colors and mountain terrain that stands in stark contrast to the flat Oklahoma prairie. Our visit to Gloss Mountain was a bit of a teaser because as we head out of the park, we are immediately back onto the flat terrain. We continue on to our next overnight at Boiling Springs State Park. It's Monday and the campground is almost empty. This is a great location, great facility with hot showers and heated bathrooms. We also enjoy a great hike around the park, peaceful trails through wooded terrain. After a restful night, we continue our trek west toward the Oklahoma Panhandle. Shortly after leaving Boiling Springs, we arrive in the town of Woodward. This town, with a population of 12,000, is the Woodward County seat. Established in the late 1800s, Woodward was on the Great Western Cattle Trail. We take a short detour through the downtown area before we continue west on U.S. Highway 412. Another 15 miles past Woodward, we happen upon the Fort Supply historic site. We drove by initially, but curiosity got the better of us, so we made a U-turn to go back and see it. It turns out the historic center is open by appointment only. The site was situated on the grounds of a minimum security correctional facility. After being spooked by warning signs and barbed wire fences, we took some pictures, discreetly of course, and hightailed it out of town.
I took a video of that sign, but the guns.
I'm sure they got us on video.
There were a bunch of wacko tourists that kept by our place 3 times. Track us.
May, Oklahoma.
It's a goofy site.
Yeah, he's training.
There were long stretches between towns, each one of them unique in their own way. Sometimes we would spend a little extra time taking some of the side streets to see something different and to break up the monotony of driving for hours across the wide open plains. This is what we were looking for, of course, to experience these roads and towns less traveled. And we wondered to ourselves, what would it be like to live in these far-flung communities? In Boise City, we leave U.S. Highway Route 412 and take Oklahoma Highway 325 toward Black Mesa State Park. As we approached the Black Mesa State Park, located at the western end of the Oklahoma Panhandle, we began to sense the approaching mountains. High mesa vistas became more common, and the landscape became intermittently rolling with many rock formations. We spent some time exploring the park the next day before heading across the border into New Mexico. Outside of the park, the roads were empty as we worked our way west, using backcountry roads. Clayton, New Mexico is another high plains town, almost indistinguishable from the other small towns we have encountered the last few days. Here we pick up U.S. Highway 64 and head west-northwest toward Raton to conclude our second leg of the journey with an overnight stop at Sugary Canyon State Park. We begin to see many volcanic formations as well, along both sides of the highway. We take a side road toward Capulin Volcano National Monument. This volcano is part of the Clayton-Raton volcanic field. It has an elevation of 8,182 feet above sea level. The end of our second leg takes us to northeastern New Mexico. When we started out from our campsite at Hickory Ridge, back in Arkansas, we were situated at about 1,100 feet above sea level. By the time we reached our campsite at Soda Pocket Loop in the Sugarite Canyon State Park, we had reached an elevation above 7,900 feet.